So today I thought it would finally be time to get on top of the nasty weeds that in my ryegrass around the greens. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that, how we get on top of other weeds this time of year, because there's quite a few weeds popping up, or they popped up a few months ago and you may not have got on top of them. So let's talk about that, show you guys how this area is looking and just get into it. So I'm not actually sure how much I've shown this on camera, but the ryegrass is chock-a-block full of weeds at the moment. Sort of all germinated at the start of spring. I never really got on top of spraying them out just because, to be honest, I just didn't do it. It's just the way it is now. There's lots and lots of clover in here, a bit of bindi, a bit of everything in here, and it's all, I mean, it's not looking too nasty because I mow it quite regularly, but here's all the clover just here, all starting to look quite, it's starting to look sick anyway because I've been mowing so regularly, but it would just be nice to knock on the head and get rid of it. Now, sometimes identifying weeds can be a bit of a problem. Not always super easy to do, so there's lots of ways you can do it online now, which is really, really handy. Google Lens is a way. I think Apple's even got their own version. There's an app called Picture This as well, which I've used in the past and shown you guys, so I'm just gonna use that now. The best thing to do is pull something out. If it's got seed head or something, make sure you get that out as well. Try and get some roots attached, just so you get a really, really good picture of what it is. And then all we do is just take a photo. There you go, clustered clover. I've never heard of that before, clustered clover, but that's exactly what it is. So that's what's in here, some clustered clover. And there's also some white flowered clover as well. A little bit of Oxalis in a few spots and a couple of other weeds, but I've never actually heard of clustered clover. There you go, it's got a weird little seed head on it. It's like a purpley sort of a color, which almost looks like bindi. But that's why apps like this are handy, because they can just help you identify them just that little bit easier. Now, when it comes to applying a herbicide, I generally recommend to people looking at something like bow and arrow. The main reason is because it's going to be safe on any grass type, whereas something like dicamba is not going to be safe for your buffalo and other weeds like that. Sorry, other weeds, yeah, exactly. Other grasses like that, because they can just get burned or it can potentially kill it. Well, dicamba will kill your buffalo. So bow and arrow is what I'm going to use here today on the ryegrass. Now, no wind about, which is good. You've got to make sure you spray when there is no wind about, especially when you live next door to a vineyard, because spray drift can be a problem. It can damage other plants as well. So just always make sure it's a nice calm day. It's not too stinking hot, and if possible, water your lawn the day before so it's not stressed out. Now, we had heaps and heaps of rain yesterday, so that's going to make it really, really good for us just here. So the soil's nice and wet still. The leaf's dry, but the soil is nice and wet, so it's not going to actually stress the plant out when we put this herbicide out. The most of the time when you see burn from something like bow and arrow on grass types is because, one, your lawn is stressed out, and another reason is because it's really, really hot in the day as well, or you've given it a mow like an hour before, and that puts some stress on the plant and allows it to actually be burnt by that herbicide as well. So just make sure you time your application right. If you have to do it late in the afternoon when the sun's starting to go down, generally a little bit less windy then as well, and just make sure you've had water on it the day before. You'll get a better kill too if you have some water the day before, because the plant's going to be thriving and even the weed's going to be pushing some extra growth because you've given it a bit of a boost of water. Also, when you're using herbicides, just make sure you don't let your pets back on the area until it's dried out. So just keep them away. So the dogs are in the house at the moment, just so we're really, really careful with that. And just make sure you wear the proper PPE. So gum boots, make sure you wear at least long pants, long sleeve shirt, glasses and a hat. Now, if it says on the label to wear a mask, wear a mask. Just make sure you always read the label and follow the directions and just be safe. But as mentioned, make sure you wear your proper PPE. So I've just got these cotton overalls here today. Now I need to check on the label if you need to wear a mask actually, because I'm not sure with bow and arrow. At least gum boots though, because you don't want, your feet are the worst place for herbicides to be taken up. Be just taken up through your whole body if you get some on your feet. Well, let's read the label. Do not apply if turf is under stress or when frost is imminent. Do not use if rain is expected within 4 hours. Do not use clippings as mulch around other plants. Do not use on bent grass or wintergrass, golf, bowling greens. So this cannot go onto the golf green, as you can imagine. Good thing we've got some low drift nozzle, so that's not going to be drifting onto the green, and as I said, there's no wind about today, so we're going to be fine. There you go. Avoid mowing during the 3 to 4 days before and after treatments. There you go. So this is saying try to avoid mowing for a couple of days. And also, weed death can take up to 6 weeks. So this is why you read the label, because it's going to tell you absolutely everything in there. Some people expect to see kill off within a day or two. up to 6 weeks if they're really, really mature weeds. When opening the container, preparing the spray and using the prepared spray, cotton overalls, buttoned up to the neck and wrist, washable hat, elbow length PVC gloves and goggles. Nothing here about a mask, so we don't have to wear a mask today. So when mixing up herbicides in your tank, make sure you put the majority of the water in first. So I've got it here in a bucket. If I get any of it in there. Now I've left a little bit left in the bucket there. Now the rate for bow and arrow is 50 ml per 100 square meters. So make sure you stick to that rate as well. Mix it up in your container. Now if you want to get a really, really kill with your herbicide, I'd recommend getting something like a sticker, like this wet out just here, so that it's going to help it stick to the leaf. You're always going to get a better kill when you add a sticker with it as well. Now today we're going to be a little bit cheeky as well. We're going to put some Enhance out today. I do actually have a weed and feed bundle that does have bow and arrow and Enhance, but we're just doing this today because the ryegrass needs a little bit of a feed, so Enhance will be perfect for that. So a comment I do get quite regularly is, can you use the same sprayer that you use for fertilizers and stuff for herbicides and insecticides as well? Now, believe it or not, you can. You just got to make sure you give it a really, really good rinse after use, and then again before use when you're doing it with multiple chemicals. Now, I sprayed that fairway there with some Roundup and some Broadleaf, just some dicamba, the other day as well, just to knock the weeds then in there with the spray just here. And I'm using it today around the green surrounds. Now, I gave this a quadruple rinse the day of, flushed everything through the nozzles, through the bottom of it, rinsed out the whole tank, flushed that through again, and did that 5 times. And then I did that twice this morning as well, just to really make sure there's no residual in the tank itself. And I sprayed the herbicide on there 2 days ago. So yeah, it's not going to be a problem. We won't get any death from glyphosate on the ryegrass here, and if we do, dang. No, it's not a problem. Now we're going to make sure we go over in 2 directions on this, just so we'd make sure we don't miss any spots. Now I could spot spray this today, but I'm doing a broad blanket spray because there is weeds absolutely everywhere on every single section of this ryegrass over this whole area. So just going to go over it twice, the whole area, putting it out at 50 ml per 100 square meters, put an adequate amount of water in here. We had some rain yesterday, no wind about today, wearing the proper PPE. I'm harping on today because I get questions about this in emails all the time, so I thought I would just go in depth today with all of this, but let's do it, let's spray it. Oh, it's disgusting, man. That is the one sucky thing about wearing all this stuff is, ugh, yuck. Well, that's all done. As I said, make sure you don't let your pets or your kids back on the area, even yourself. Don't go in there until it's at least dried out. I tend to say wait 2 to 3 hours just to be safe. Again, I won't be mowing the green today either, because I don't want to be tracking any of the herbicide onto the green itself, because it's on the leaf of the ryegrass on the outside. I mean, I could have mowed beforehand, the bent, but whatever, bruh, it's not growing much because it has been so windy, cold nights, but warm days, so it's stressing the plant out quite a bit. Let me show you something actually. So I've had quite a few areas stress out, almost die out. This happened about a week ago, and I've been keeping the wet nation up to it, hand watering it. It just happened because we've had such dry days over the last little bit. I put some before shots up of how bad it looked though, and it's definitely coming back. Definitely looking a lot better. I'm glad I got onto it when I did. All this stuff, you can see there's new green shoots in there, and it's starting to spread anyway, so it's not a problem. Good thing about bent grass is if you're on top of it, it will repair, but it can turn super quick. You could have it perfect looking in the morning, and by the afternoon it could go blue and start dying out. It's crazy stuff, man. That's why you just got to be onto it if you've got some in your own yard. Just want to show you something as well. So here's where I sprayed the Roundup yesterday. Through here, you can see all this Patterson's curse is starting to curl up and die. Not yesterday, sorry, the day before that, so 2 days ago I sprayed it out. And you can see a spot that I missed. Still nice and lush and green, and the part next to it is dying off. I'll get a close up for you. So you can see, that's where I have sprayed, and over here is where I haven't sprayed. Same with over here, actually see a spot that I've missed, unfortunately, when I went out to spray, so I have to come over with a knapsack and just get this one spot. There's like a little section just here. 2 days after spraying too, so you can see exactly where I've missed it. Good to finally get on top of that. Weeds, man, they can be frustrating. Sometimes you can just regularly mow it and get rid of them over time, or if your grass is thick enough, it's not going to be a problem. Sometimes they just keep pushing through like they did in this situation, so I decided it was time to finally get down and spray it. So thanks guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something new today. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys very soon.